Good evening, YouTube. Mochismo Eugene. Another video on exit strategy. I'm going to title this video Narcissism in the church. Okay, let's just do that, not to complicate things. Narcissism in the church. And I did say narcissism as opposed to narcissistic personality disorder. From what I've gathered and what I've researched in my 2+ years of both listening to videos from survivors who I believe have done extensive studying of their own, Dr. Romney, Sam Vaknin, Richard Gannon, which is a survivor. But these guys that I just named, they're very, very, very astute in this subject, and at least in my opinion. So there's a few more, and I do my own studying as well. But that's why I want to distinctively separate narcissistic personality from narcissism. So that's what I'm naming this, narcissism in the church. And quite naturally, you might say, well, we're aware that narcissism is in the church. Narcissism is in every walk of life. Okay. But I'm going to specifically focus on narcissism in the church. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because this morning I was just, just sitting around, and just to get off topic just a moment, I haven't been on here in a while. Just very busy. I stay active. I am tuning into other YouTubers, so I'm always supporting that way. I just never have enough time to make a video. Like I said to someone before, there's always subject matter. Survivors, we could put 10 videos out a day with the thought process that we have now that we've been awakened. But it takes a lot of dedication. It takes setting aside different things that you have going on in your everyday normal life to do this. So anyone who's on here looking at these YouTubers and you think that they're just sitting around just trying to get money off of you and this is their bread and butter, I would beg to differ, because and if it is their bread and butter, they're working to earn it. They're giving a service unlike any other service you'll get on planet Earth, and it's a real service. Whether some of them are unauthentic, some of them may be narcissists themselves, but if they're giving info that is very sound to what these monsters are, I think with anything, you take what you will from it and you run with it. But my point, again, getting away from the topic, I was in a car accident Friday, not yesterday, but Friday a week ago, and I wasn't in the car. I was on my power scooter, and a guy essentially ran the red light and hit me at about 30 miles an hour, thereby impeding me up under his car, SUV, roughly a 6,000-pound SUV, Ford Explorer to be exact. Crushed my leg pretty bad, didn't break a bone, and anyone who has a weak stomach, don't look, but I think most of you could bear this in light of all the gory things that they do show on TV. But my leg could be disturbing, so that's a disclaimer right there. And just to show you, there's no scratches. I was actually wearing the same clean white tees with a clean white undershirt, and so no scratches from head, waist level. No scratches whatsoever, which is a blessing in itself. My leg, however, I'm going to lift my leg so as not to move the camera. There's a portion of the vehicle is actually on top of this leg to which he had the bag reversed off of me. And as I said, I slid up under this truck after hitting his truck, by the way. I collided with his truck, so about 7 days. It's healing pretty good. There's some tissue and some there's some scarring. First layer or two of skin is gone. But you know, in light of everything, I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm doing the necessary things that are necessary after this type of thing happens with insurance and litigations and whatnot. So that being that, my children graduated from 6th grade yesterday, and I gotta say, you know, reflecting on life, I told someone, I say, you know, I limped into the gymnasium yesterday, but I could have actually been on life support and not even attended. I could have actually been wheeled in with broken legs, arms, you name it. And not to be graphic, but to be real with you, I actually look at this as, you know, just not even a wake-up call, but a reflection on how grateful I am in my life. As I am always, as much as I can be, but this is just further, solidifies that gratefulness. So I hope this inspires somebody. Just be grateful to where we are. You might be abused or been abused by a narcissist, which I think most people on this channel have been. Take what you will from that abuse and try to move forward. Not to forget that, and just push forward in a positive way to try to make your life going forward meaningful for you and people around you. Okay, back to the video of narcissism in the church. And I stress narcissism. I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to talk as though we're sitting around the house right now, because I really don't like to write notes. I don't have a problem speaking, but I don't want to talk in circles. Got thinking, walking around the house this morning a little bit, and I said, man, you know, being that I can speak from first-hand experience, the way narcissism works in the church, let's give you the breakdown. If you are a survivor of narcissistic personality disorder abuse, and this is some of the things you don't want to do, and I stand on this, I would not encourage this. You know, recommend, whatever. I don't encourage this at all. Don't go to the church looking for support from the church, be it from the top to the bottom. Don't go consulting with the pastor about narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder. This newfound information that you have, essentially what I'm saying is, what you do, first of all, I recommend and would encourage you strongly to do what I did. Once you have discovered what you're dealing with and what has been dealing with you by way of another individual trying to ruin your life, you begin to Google, go to YouTube. If you're freshly awakened, and this is the scenario, you go to YouTube, you Google these subtitles and these subjects of this behavior and this disorder, and you read in silence. You read in silence. You don't read and go and share this right way with friends, family, loved ones, church, anyone. You go into solitude. And the reason why you don't go to the church, because I'm going to tell you, I know you've heard of the word AI, artificial intelligence, and I think in my heart of hearts, artificial intelligence is not what a lot of people on this planet think it is. It's not. It's not aliens. It's not. It's not even the thing where I've heard Elon Musk and some of his camp are actually trying to do something with the brain to make people some kind of sophisticated subhuman or whatever. Essentially, a lot of people think it's robots that are going to be recruited to do all kinds of things and replace people. That has been going on since the automated assembly line. So calm down about that. It's little about that artificial intelligence, which that is artificial intelligence. They program, put in something in that for it gives output, and it can produce and manufacture. but you still have to go back and keep putting human input in. So my point to that is, the AI, in my opinion, and I stand on this, is a narcissist in whatever capacity in, encouraging, persuading, recruiting, enlisting others, whether they are narcissists, minions is what they are. This is what the narcissists do, because you have to understand a narcissist in a capacity where they have persuasion, power, and influence and position. They can command everything up under them. I'll give you an example just to make it plain. Say Walmart, for example. Just using Walmart as an example. Walmart is a billion-dollar company, trillion-dollar company. They're very diversified. They hire and employ all diverse type of cultures, religions, background, whatever. They don't really care about that. And if you don't believe, they even hire atheists. They don't ask you if you're atheist, you can't work here, Christian, you can't work here. They recruit everybody. But what Walmart has is a model, a standard, a code of conduct, if you will, a policy. And this policy is something that they expect every employee to abide by, comply with, follow. And what they're gambling on and what they're betting on, and they're betting on a win-win situation, by the way, that not only will most of their employees abide by, comply with, and adhere to this code of conduct, policy, they're gambling on the fact that they are the ones that become minions. They are gambling and betting on the minions, the ones who often are not free thinkers, goody two-shoes, brown nosers, kiss asses. They're betting on these individuals to recruit more people like them. And even if you're codependent, childhood wounds, anything like that, and you may not be this, and you could be a people pleaser if you're codependent, so you fall in this category. So let's say if you have a pretty healthy lifestyle in and of itself, this minion, these brown nosers that are recruiting you, as the higher ups have handpicked them, they will further break down your boundaries, the standards that you normally have, the good old-fashioned morals that you have adopted from birth and been taught, and they will make you march to their drum beat. Now, not to overcomplicate this, what I'm trying to show you the pattern is in the connection of this and how narcissism in the church works that same way. The pastor, take for example, a lot of pastors are narcissists. And knowing what we know about narcissism now, and narcissistic personality, NPD, I'll just break it down and shorten it. NPD, they're psychopath, sociopath. You can open your phone or read the paper on any given week, and you will see where a pastor murders his family and himself. Most often the coward doesn't murder himself, or he will murder the whole family. He gets caught up in not just a light infidelity, it's atrocious. And it's atrocious because it has been going not under the radar, right up under the nose of the congregation. And he's had people who have actually cloaked and if that's the right word, they've aided and abated him. And not to go into names of pastors, but that is what I'm trying to get across to you. Narcissism in the church. You don't want to play with this monster. This is a different type of monster. After you're fresh out of a narcissistic MPD abuse relationship, and when I say relationship, that goes beyond just intimate relationship. You could have gotten out of, let's say if you're in a church and you find that there is a member here that you've discovered was a narcissist that has been just like draining you dry, both of your energy, finances, smearing you, whatever you can say. Now you've reflected and you see your way out of this. What you often find people would do after they've gotten out of this relationship, say if they've found somebody in the world that wasn't of the church and you're a Christian, you find somebody in the world that's not a believer, you feel guilty, you're holding something against yourself saying, oh man, it's my own fault, I'm going to go to the pastor now that I know what I'm dealing with. I know I shouldn't have picked somebody from the world as opposed to the church. And now you're not only slightly confused out of the first relationship, you don't have clarity enough and the wherewithal to say, let me just pump my brakes for a second before I go and consult anybody about this, especially someone that doesn't have a clue about it. If you went and got your refrigerator fixed, you would want to go to a person that probably specializes in refrigerators. And so you don't want to go to the church, but what I'm saying is the urge to do that is very strong, because guess what? In a spiritual capacity, I can think of no other place that we let our guards all the way down. No other capacity in life. Because that word submit, honor, obey, just different words that we hear and they're being thrown around. So what we translate that to mean is I go into this church half-baked, like a deer in the headlights, not questioning anything, not even questioning things that I know in my common sense rationale that look like a freaking horse and pony show. All of the running around and the hooping and hollering and the screaming. People who are vexed of demonic spirits. Call it judgmental if you want, but I'm going to show you something. I'm going to use a term where we used to use, it don't take all that. And when I mean it doesn't take all that, do what you want to do. However you're inspired to release or exercise the power in which God has overcome you with and made you feel gratitude, overwhelming amounts of gratitude, fine and well. But in my 52 years of living, and as I continue to progress in age, in wisdom and insight, and to see all the manipulation contrast with supposedly mannerism, all this bullshit don't make no sense. It's not of God. And it's time that people realize it's not of God. I'm a Christian, I still believe in God, God's still God. Oh, you swearing? Before I leave this earth, my whole goal in life is to be genuine to myself and to awaken everyone that I believe are under this oppressive dark cloud of manipulation and bullshit. Even my children, starting from my home, is what I do, and I do this. So that is what I'm trying to show you with the Walmart analogy. The pastor, say he's a narcissist, he goes, uses this vulnerability that you have. You're already broken, in need of healing, and not a quick fix. You're in need of some trauma counseling, and you what have it. This guy would take you under his wing, and he'll give you this narrow tunnel vision way of how we are going to fix this. We're going to take this to God in prayer. Oftentimes you'll have a pastor who is the narcissist. He'll capitalize on this, especially if you're female. because a lot of men won't go to, and I'm just going to use this in the female going to a male pastor capacity, because first of all, men don't open up as much as we can open up. It's just the statistics show this. Men won't ask for counseling. Men won't ask for help. Men won't talk to other men about specifically what they're dealing with. We throw little 1-2 word remarks or statements. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's a you know what. She's a bitch. She's a slut. She crazy. We don't seek to understand the dynamics of what they're doing and to try to pinpoint and identify what exactly is going on with this woman that we are involved with, in order to try to see if this is something that she just it has no control over, by way of coming up in a bad lifestyle and just is afraid of her own shadow, unlike the narcissist. Or in fact, if it is in fact a person with NPD, to which there is no hope for, at least from you, there's no hope, because you're the reason, you're the problem in the first place. You're the target, so you can't help them. Only way you can help them if you stay in the abusive cycle, and you stay being the crash dummy, and you stay being the punching bag, and you stay being the can that they can kick around every time they want. So back to what I'm saying, be it that you're a woman, you don't want to dare tamper with this, because you're jumping out of the frying pan into the skillet. Because with this pastor, if he is, and even, I won't say even if he's not a narcissist, we're going to keep it to him being a narcissist. He's going to use this as a manipulative tactic. Before you know it, you might either become sexually violated. Most definitely, you'll probably encounter sexual advance. To what degree you will be violated will only God knows. If you had a wherewithal to wake up and snap out of it and break away and whatnot. But the thing is, now even if you break away, now you have somewhat of a dirty little secret. You went to someone who you thought could help you, and now you got a double dose of guilt, because you don't dare have anyone you can talk to about this, because he is further traumatized you. Now you're holding and carrying, your backpack is full now. You came to him to help him offload some of the stuff that you were carrying. Now your backpack is full to capacity. And now it's like you're hiking up a hill on your own. And these are analogies. And you go on years, months, sometimes a lifetime, holding that secret. And on the worst case scenario, if he does violate you, rape you, doesn't matter whether it's a minimal advance or to the extreme degree, actually rape you, it will still have the same. It will have the same result. The trauma would be there. It's not something you're gonna immediately erase. It's not gonna immediately be overcome just by getting some distance away from this situation. And now you find yourself, if you are not strong enough to just break away and cease and desist from this church, you'll find yourself still being a member of this church. And then you begin to adopt a style and a lifestyle of smiling, pretending like everything is okay. So now you're drowning all your energies into just doing the thing in which God would have you to do in this demonic church. I think you know where I'm going with this. So the point to this, the narcissism in the church, they get the minions. The pastor will recruit people who he sees that's consistently ass kissers. And this is how they dumb it down and cloak it, if I didn't make any sense before. And you will understand it clear as a bell now. They'll get someone, enlist certain people for ushers and put them in these specific strategic positions. And they're good at being salesmen. That means selling you the bullshit and selling the minions the bullshit and selling everybody after that the bullshit, the newcomers. The pastor will enlist these ushers, and he'll use the scriptures to justify their agenda. They will say, when you get saved, we need to shepherd these new recruit or new converts. And so this is how a cult works too. Because in nowhere in the Bible has a protocol when somebody's saved. You gotta call them, check in with them, make sure everything is going well with them. I don't knock that, but what I'm trying to show you, there is a strong stench of them watching you to make sure that their well-oiled machine continues to run like they want it to run. And this all comes down from the top. And then if you are a freak thinker, say like me, and you question things, they'll even send minions to try to persuade and dissuade you to stop overthinking, stop thinking through it. And before you know it, what they'll try to do is insulate themselves against you exposing and coming to your wits about them. And they'll try, oh, come to this Bible study. And then you'll find yourself in the middle of this little Bible study. They'll say, well, okay. Well, they'll point, Machismo, get up and tell us a few things. Oh, Machismo, he's just an admirable. Oh, man, all the things that he has done in here. He mows the lawn, he does this, and we are grateful for him. They'll embellish you. They'll wind you up. Therefore, now, Machismo done forgot about, man, I need to be questioning some of these things that just don't make no sense. I need to be questioning these things of how certain people move in here, because your intuition is not lying to you. Isn't this how the narcissist gets you in? So the church in itself, they love bombing you too. And that's what that would have been, what I just pointed out, that little scenario. So I guess now, when I just said what I just said, maybe the clarity is there, maybe it's not. You know, going here and going there, there are so many intricate moving parts with narcissism and narcissistic personality disordered people, into which I've said this before, narcissists train healthy people on how to behave, act, and conduct themselves like narcissists. They laugh at things that are not funny. They laugh at tragedies. You'll catch somebody would be seemingly normal in their own right, in and of themselves, but they don't know how to think on their own, so they get encamped with a narcissist who is at the bar leading the conversation, overt narcissist most often, and before you know it, just to be a part of the group, they take on and adopt their persona and desert who they are and become what these people are. It's sickening, it's twisted. And I hope what I've done here today is a little bit more clarity to how the narcissism in the church works. It works in a lot of different other ways, but this was deeply on my heart, and I just kind of had to speak from that position. And with that, blessed.